Is that presenting?
Yeah.
All right, great. Hi, and welcome everyone to MuleSoft Meetup today on the 21st of June. We do apologize for being late. We did have some technical issues.
Just to make sure.
Oh.
Sorry.
We're having more technical
Yeah, we are
tests.
muted. Good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we do apologize. It's our first meetup virtually, well, a hybrid meetup of both online and in person. So for our first time testing, there's going to be a couple of hiccups. Maybe by the second time around, we'll get a little bit better at it. But I think we've been already 10 minutes late, so let's just make a start and get going. So I'll walk through the agenda. The first part is registration and networking. So the one thing that we're going to do about the hybrid meetups is we'll have a period with between 5 and 5:15 where the people that come in person will actually have an opportunity to network with each other and share and do that sort of thing, where the actual virtual meetup will start at 5:15 with introduction and announcements, and then 5:30 to hand over to the Integrate ChatGPT. I don't think our announcements will take that long, but we're just allowing a bit more time, and that'll give Hugo a bit more time to talk too. So the first thing we head on to into the announcements. So we've got the Anypoint Experience Hub, which is coming out. So this is a new way to be able to take your assets and show them online. So the way that the Anypoint Experience Hub is built is built on the Salesforce Experience app or something like that. I can't quite remember the name. That's slipped my mind now. But it's built on top of that. So the same sort of customization that you can have in Salesforce, where you can build your web components, you can build your different fields that people can interact with publicly. This will be the same sort of thing. So you'll be able to publish your assets into the portal, and you can create them there, and your clients or the people who consume your assets will be able to see it from there. So do check out the news that's happening there. We will share that link into the comments section, so you'll be able to check it out. There is a short video that gives a nice walkthrough on what you can do and can be done. So it gives some really out-of-the-box stuff that's really powerful for publishing and making available your assets. The next one that we've got is for our locals here. So we've got the Trailblazer Bootcamp happening in Gold Coast from the 24th to the 28th of July 2023. It's definitely an amazing event to join if you can in person. So I believe that there's only 3 globally that's presented for this particular bootcamp. So we're quite blessed in Australia to be able to have that opportunity in Gold Coast to attend this event. So if you're interested in Salesforce, you're interested in MuleSoft, Slack, or Tableau, is definitely a good bootcamp to be able to join for some in-person training, some connections, and some opportunities. Sorry, we had someone in the audience drop something. The next one that we've got is the Anypoint Code Builder updates. So a couple of cool things that have come out. Firstly, we've got the open beta availability on the EU control plane. So this will give some people that haven't been able to have the opportunity to try out Anypoint Code Builder, they can actually try that out now, which is great. One of the other updates is the iterative API design and implementation. So what happened here is there's usually the separation between your RAML or your OAS and then your actual implementation. So you have to be able to complete your design first before you can move into your implementation. But what they've done now is that you can actually write your RAML or write your OAS inside the Anypoint Code Builder and then immediately start building your implementation on that. How this will change the way that you do your design first approach, I guess, would be up to each consumer or user or business to be able to make that decision. But it does give you the flexibility where you can start implementing those integrations and do those quick POCs without having to go to Anypoint platform, go to Design Center and do it there, and then pull it down into your IDE. Now that's all in one place altogether. So I think that's going to be a good step forward. And then the last components that were added is the UI support snippet. So that's actually the picture that you see happening there in the background. So what this has done is this has introduced 2 different things. So the first one is that when you're looking to drag and drop those components into your palette, from your palette and into the area where you can do your code, it'll actually allow you to search something on Exchange that you want to use, a particular connector or something like that, and it will pull that drop-down list of connectors that you can use, and you can just drag them across directly. So it makes searching for assets a lot quicker, so you don't have to go into a separate window, then download it, and then start to import stuff across. All that happens in the same place, which is really good. The other one that they've got is they've got snippets built into the UI as well. So if you've got a particular code that you use quite frequently, you can go ahead and grab those snippets out of your snippet collection and just drag and drop them straight in. Or I think you click and then it sort of comes into place. So those are some cool new features that have come on from the June 2023 release. We're now moving on to our introductions. So the first bit of introductions that I'll do is the organizers for the event. So Hugo, which you'd seen earlier, is our principal integration architect at CloudWorks, MuleSoft mentor and MuleSoft Meetup leader. You've got myself, Brian Fraser, MuleSoft ambassador, MuleSoft Meetup leader, senior integration consultant, Capgemini. So we'll be the two speakers that we'll be doing today. So I'll be the host and Hugo will be presenting. We did try to keep it inside the team to do our first hybrid event so that if there's any troubleshooting issues and stuff like that, we can deal with it internally. But this will certainly open up this event to other speakers as we move forward. We've got Nicholas Ip, who's also here, senior consultant at MuleSoft and MuleSoft Meetup leader, and Ryan Andor as well, which is our MuleSoft ambassador, and he's well-versed in many different things. So we have AWS, Azure, and more. So the two sponsors that we've got is Capgemini. So we're quite lucky to be able to use their space. So they give that to us for free, which we can use to run these events, to be able to create social space for people to be able to connect with one another, learn and grow in the community. And we've got CloudWorks as well, which is where Hugo is from, and the sort of knowledge base and stuff that they bring into this community, and which is part of this presentation as well. Moving on to our speaker, we've got Hugo Wei. He'll introduce himself a little bit later in his slides as well. But as I mentioned, he is the principal integration architect at CloudWorks, has been there for a little while. He's also been previously at Super Retail Group, which is a really big, group of businesses here in Australia. So it goes across quite a few different businesses. He's a MuleSoft mentor, so helping people to really come up in the community, teaching them, mentoring them, providing resources online. And he is, of course, a MuleSoft Meetup leader here in the... So I will hand over to Hugo from here. Thank you, Hugo.
Thanks, Brian. All right. Thank you, Brian, so much for the really nice introduction there. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Everyone can hear me okay? Still all good? Yep. I've got 18 participants. I'll take that as a yes. You guys can hear me okay? Okay, all right. So I'll get into the topic today. I'll start present. Yeah, so what are we going to look at today, guys? As I said, I just started again. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. I think this is the very first time that we are presenting the Brisbane Meetup in a hybrid mode, where we have in-person participants as well as the virtual ones from around the world. So that's very exciting. Thank you all for coming along. So today we are going to look at integrating ChatGPT with MuleSoft to power businesses. So we're going to look at how that works or share a little bit insights into a business case that we recently POC'd at CloudWorks, and we'll take it from there. Make this informal. If you guys have any questions in between, feel free to ask, or after this session we can look into your questions as well, if that works for you, whichever works for you. So with that, I'll get into it. As Brian mentioned, that my name is Fugu Wei. You guys can call me Fugu. I currently work as a principal integration architect at CloudWorks. And yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. There's my email address if you guys want to touch base, either on LinkedIn or by email. And looking at the agenda for today, we are going to look at 4 things. We'll start off with problem statements, where we look at the problem we're solving today, and then we'll look at the solutions to these problems. And that will be followed by a live demo, where I showcase how we're going to integrate ChatGPT into MuleSoft to power the business case that we are going to demo today. Then the last one, but not least, is the Q&A session. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge my colleague Suraj from CloudWorks for giving me this the base version of this demo. So which is the version I'm going to show you well, actually, I've made some modifications, but the base version was provided by him. Thank you. Thank you so much, Suraj, for your kindness there. So let's start with the problem. I know this, apologies that it's a bit textual, this slide, but this is a made-up business called Aussie Electronics. So their business model is they sell electronic products. Yeah, they are one of the electronic product distributors here in Australia. The way they work is they take offers from a range of their vendors. So a lot of them actually are smaller players in the market. They provide like TVs, computers, laptops, or routers and that sort of products to Aussie Electronics. So every week, or depends on every partner of theirs is different. They send majority of these partners send email offers. So they may say, offers this week, we've got 100 Samsung TVs and the price is $2,000, for example. So that's the way they work. They get offers from a large number of vendors. Actually, some of the vendors are actually international, and at the same time they get orders from their customers in email as well. So they are like really just like a matchmaker, if you like. So they match the offers with the orders from their customers and offer the lowest price possible to their customers. So that's their business model. Obviously, that business model, it operates on emails. It's so they've got a team running behind the emails, checking the emails and interpret what the offers are about, and then capture the offers into forms of like spreadsheets, for example. At the same time, they do the same thing for orders from their customers. So orders come in from their customers as email. These orders can be in the form of a free text. For example, I want to buy 10 TVs. I'm talking about their customers. These customers can be individuals, can also be their business partners. So the problem with that business model is that it's not scalable, obviously, right? You basically, there's a big human power behind the scene to really check the emails and capture the orders as well as the offers from their both customers and partners. And if you want to do more deals, you have to hire more people to check. And then people, I mean, workers not going to work after working hours, right? So it's not scalable in that sense. And then it's error prone, obviously, because humans involved, they may copy paste the incorrect information that would lead to maybe, for example, incorrect product details, pricing discrepancies and stuff like that, even missed orders sometimes. And again, the matching behind the scene, the matching between offers and orders is done sort of manually, and that is not really efficient. That efficiency would cause issues like, for example, sometimes they even miss the deals, right? They miss the sales, and therefore, there are unhappy customers. So these are the problems that this business called Aussie Electronics is currently facing. So they want to find a solution to resolving these problems, to make them operate more efficiently and more scalable so that their business can grow rapidly. So that, in a nutshell, that's what this slide is talking about. And you guys can read a little bit offline later, but yeah, so that's on a high level, the issues. And this is a visual representation of how they are taking orders and offers from their customers and vendors, suppliers at a moment. So as I explained previously, orders and offers are all coming through emails. So if you look at the flow here, and vendors send free text email orders, and they have a team of people, like sales team sitting behind, checking emails, try to understand what offers are about. It could be 5 TVs or 10 routers, 10 Cisco routers, or 100 HP laptops and stuff like that, and what sort of quantity their vendors can offer at what price. So yeah, so that's the first red box there represents. Then what they do afterwards, once they understand what the offers are about, then they extract the valid ones, the offers out, and record them manually. So that's how they build up offers. Then in parallel, as I said, they get free text-based email orders. Yeah, this business model is, I mean, believe it or not, it does exist. Yeah, this is a made-up company, but the business model does exist. There are some businesses doing their operations in this way. So they get email orders from their customers. Again, similar process. They check the emails and try to understand what their customers are after, and then extract the orders information and record orders manually. The last phase of this process is to try to match what their customers want and with what their vendors can offer. For instance, maybe someone's after 5 TVs and 5 Samsung TVs, like OLED TVs, for example, 50 inches. What is the lowest price among my vendors? I might have 10 vendors can provide me with the exactly the same product, but at different prices. Yeah. So what sort of attractive a price can I offer to my customers? That is essentially the business model. Yet there are challenges, as I explained early on, that it's not scalable, it's time consuming, it's a lot of repetitive, human tasks there. I mean, of course, the staff members won't be happy because they have to do this sort of robotic or repetitive tasks that don't give them really a sense of achievement, I would argue. And then that's how it works in a moment. Once they match the orders with the offers, they send the invoices to their customers and telling them this is the price we can offer and stuff like that. So that's what's coming back to customers. You can see the box at the bottom there says. So what can we do? What's the solution, right? So today I'm going to present this automated solution to that problem. We are looking at a few things here. We are going to use MuleSoft Anypoint to capture the orders and as well as the offers from emails. And we then use ChatGPT to understand, really, because MuleSoft Anypoint doesn't really understand the semantics, the relationships, and what the email is about. It can do data transformation, but it doesn't really understand the meaning. What is that deal about? So that's where we leverage ChatGPT to understand the text and give us meaningful information, which you guys will see shortly. Once we get the results from ChatGPT, then what we do is in Anypoint is we then talk to the backend systems. That could be your order management system, like your SAP ERP. That could be your dedicated order fulfillment system or process behind the scene. But in this case, we are simplifying the process by just using Salesforce as sort of the order management system behind the scene to do the match between orders and offers. And then go through the order fulfillment process to find the best deal. So the green boxes are the ones that we are going to highlight in this session. And the white ones are really beyond the scope of today's session. Otherwise, we could be sitting here for a very long time. So with that, I'm gonna dive into it. So why MuleSoft? Why are we using MuleSoft, right? Well, on the surface, you might argue that that's because MuleSoft is a really powerful API platform. We can easily call these ChatGPT APIs, REST APIs with whether REST connectors or HTTP connectors quite easily by drag and drop. Yes, that's true, but that's not the only reason. Of course, there's data transformation capability that MuleSoft has, but that's not the only reason. The more powerful reason behind using MuleSoft to integrate, you can actually write a Python program or a Node.js program to call ChatGPT APIs and do the data transformation. That's doable. But what is unique about MuleSoft is that MuleSoft can serve as the backbone of the integration, because it can talk to numerous enterprise applications like your SAP ERP systems, like your Salesforce systems, or thousands of them. You guys are all familiar with the connectors built up on MuleSoft Exchange. So with all these connectors, we can easily connect to almost most of the common enterprise systems, even databases directly. So no doubt about that. So that's actually the big reason why we use MuleSoft. It can be the backbone of the business integration, because OZ Electronics, they are trying to bring a proper ERP, and they are evaluating whether it's NetSuite or Microsoft Navision or SAP. That all can be done by MuleSoft quite easily when it comes to integrating with these enterprise ERP systems. So then the next question is, why ChatGPT? Yeah, why? We understood now why MuleSoft, but why ChatGPT? So before we understand why ChatGPT, then let's have a look at what is ChatGPT. It's essentially an AI language model. So you guys probably have heard of LLMs, like large language models. So ChatGPT is just one of the language models out there. It's a very popular one. It's probably the most popular one that, as far as I know. It was developed by OpenAI in 2022, not very long ago. And the GPT actually stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So the way the ChatGPT works is then they build this model that is trained on a large amount of data sets. So yeah, it's pre-trained. When you use, say, for example, ChatGPT 3.5 model, the model has been pre-trained with a large amount of data there. Yeah, so behind the scene, the architecture of ChatGPT is they are using neural network architecture. So the way it works is there's lots of different nodes in the network, and each node is called a neuron. So when you give ChatGPT some sort of input, and the input is taken, passed along from one node, one neuron to another, and between neurons, essentially it's mathematical functions. So these inputs are turned into numeric characters, and these characters are passed along between nodes. Look, I'm not an AI expert. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know a lot about how that neural networks works. But just on a very high level, that's how that works. And yeah, these transformers. So these transformers are generative pre-trained transformers. As I said, they are very effective when it comes to language processing. So we're going to ask something, then we expect ChatGPT to process what we asked, and then give us the response in a meaningful way. And then these models can be fine-tuned. Of course, out-of-box model is generic, right? It may not be customized for a particular domain. For example, it could be say finance industry, right? I mean, this particular model may not work really, really well for finance, but that's where you can actually do a fine-tune of the model by training the model with the supervised learning techniques, right? So that's actually a big area that is going on. A lot of businesses are in that sort of space to fine-tune models to make it work very efficiently for a particular domain, or even for a particular task. But the model we are using today is the generic one. It's not a fine-tuned version. So let's have a look at the APIs that we're going to use. We are only using one of the ChatGPT APIs, the one that is called completions. So specifically, we are using the chat version of the completions. If you look at the URL there, it's api.openai.com. /v1/chat/completions. So what does this API do? In a nutshell, yeah, you guys probably have had experience with using ChatGPT on the web UI, right? You ask ChatGPT to give you something, and you by giving the instructions or ask the questions, and then you get the answers. Sometimes you may not get the answers right away. You have to ask again. Really, it's conversational. That's why it's called a chat, right? It's a chat. But that's how you do it on the web UI. What we are talking about here is to use the APIs in a programmable way to interact with the ChatGPT to get what we want. So the API we're using is that one. On the left-hand side, you can see it's quite simple and straightforward to call it. We just need to set the content type as application JSON, and then you need to pass the key. So that key, you can get a free version, but it comes with the API limit, rate limiting applied. But then you can get a paid version, of course, as well. And then that would be a different key without limit. And there's different tiers there, by the way, as well. Then the next one is the body, right? It's a post method. We are gonna send this API with a payload. The payload really, there are three things: the model, which model you are asking you are using. So we are using ChatGPT 3.5. And there's ChatGPT 4, actually, by the way. I think 4 is the latest version. And then the second parameter is temperature. So temperature is really the level of randomness, I should say, sorry. Well, if you set it as a 0, that means that you don't want much randomness there. So you basically get the same answer every time you ask. If whoever has used the web version, you notice that you can ask ChatGPT to regenerate the response. Then you get a different response every time. That's the randomness behind it. But for this demo today, we're not going to ask ChatGPT to give us different answers every time. So we'll set the temperature as 0. That would basically fix the answer. Next one is a message. Yeah, so the message is really what you're asking. This is an array. You can ask a number of things in one go, right? In this example here, we just say, hello, that's one message. And for that message, its message is dictated by content, really. That's what you are really asking ChatGPT to respond. Then there's a role, and role could be user, could be system, could be assistant. And in fact, if you look at the response on the right-hand side, it says the role is assistant. Assistant basically represents ChatGPT itself. It calls itself a digital assistant, if you like. So user here basically is you. You're asking ChatGPT as a ChatGPT user. All right, with that leads to the response. Response, there's a bunch of things, and these are pretty intuitive, really. It gives you the ID. For every interaction, there is a unique ID coming back, indicating the uniqueness of that response. An object created that's a timestamp of that response, and model, again, that's the specific version that you are using, 0301. And there is a concept of tokens, which we can get into later if you guys are interested in that. But it's really, they use tokens to count the number of words. It's not like a one-on-one, really. It's not like a one word equals to one token. I think something like, generally speaking, one token equals to, I think of something like 4 characters. But there's a link there. I'll share that with you guys later if you want to read a little bit more about tokens, how that works. And again, there's for the free version or ChatGPT 3.5, there's a limited tokens that you can use. If you go beyond, if you're asking something really, really big that goes beyond the number of tokens that 3.5 can support, then it will just reject your request. Okay, so with that, let's really get into the exciting part. I'm not sure if you guys can see this clearly, but this is on the left-hand side is a screenshot. I mean, don't worry too much if you can't see it clearly, because I'm going to demo that later anyway. On the left-hand side is the email. As I said, this business, OZ Electronics, they receive offers from various vendors in email, free text format. Look at the one on the left-hand side. Someone may say, "Hey, James is the sales team, one of the sales team members of OZ Electronics, and this vendor called and Fugo Auto in this case. And then they say that, oh, for this week, we can offer you, Lenovo laptop. We can give you 100 of those. If you look at the quantity there, it says 100. Then the price for that particular product is 3,378. And if you look at the item 3 there, is Fujitsu Lifebook, right? And that doesn't even say quantity. That it's got 100 there, but it's got a price. It's no comma in between. It's just a new line. So my whole point here is that you may get emails in free text format that doesn't really follow any format. It could be just with a lot of spaces in between, with no commas, sometimes with commas. It does happen in reality. So imagine humans sitting there and try to capture what these offers are. It's a lot of work. I mean, this is just a few. There are only, I think there are only 5 products here, but there could be emails with hundreds of products in free text format. So in the middle is what MuleSoft converted to. So MuleSoft gets that email and then converted into a format that we can make it as a payload for the ChatGPT API that we talked about earlier on in the previous slide. The main thing is that content. In that content, that's the actual message. We start off with a thing called a prompt. That prompt is basically an instruction. We say, can you find out the details of the offers and give us the brand name, quantity, and the price of these offers. Then that prompt is followed by the actual texts from the email, extracted from the email. This is transformed by MuleSoft. And on the right-hand side is the response. And this is actually already transformed response, by the way, by MuleSoft. The original raw response from ChatGPT won't be something like this, but we'll see that actual response later in a live demo. And this is another example for orders, because this slide is talking about offers, guys. Offers they got from their vendors, and then this is the orders they get from their customers. Their customers may say, "Hi, Aussie Electronics team, can I get 5 Samsung TVs, 50 inches, smart TVs, OLED, 4K?" And even there's misspelled words. Look at that. Samsung's spelled as SUMSUNG. Well, let's see what ChatGPT does. It actually corrects the misspelled word, and then it gets the right brand name, and that's pretty amazing. So with that, I'm going to we'll talk about areas for improvement later. With that, I'm going to get into the actual demo. So this is my my MuleSoft application here. I will quickly walk through what this application does. You guys might be already very familiar with this. Yeah, so I've got a few flows. I've got one flow that really is really listening to one email box, and that email box is for their vendors to send the orders. Sorry, send the offers through. So that's what this flow does. This flow is dedicated for offers from their vendors, and then once we get that email, this is the IMAP connector, the email connector that you guys probably are familiar with. Then we do a bit of transformation to convert the email content into a plain text. So that's what you saw in my slide. On this slide 11 here, this text here, can you do blah 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 blah? Of course we add the prompt there, and then we call the ChatGPT API, so which is this guy here. I'm using this really just plain HTTP request connector, and then we are getting the response. We do a bit of transformation. As I said, the original response won't be like this, but we do a bit of transformation to convert it into a JSON format. By the way, there's actually an interesting bit that in ChatGPT does have data transformation capability. Believe it or not, we say that DataWeave is really powerful to convert, for example, from CSV to JSON or XML to JSON, and ChatGPT can do that too. If you give ChatGPT an XML document, you ask, give me the JSON equivalent, it can do that nicely for you. So yeah, so you can when you ask ChatGPT, you can definitely format your prompt in a way that can you find the offers in the below text and return a JSON format to me. That can be done. So in which case, you probably don't have to do the data transformation. But yeah, I didn't do that. So I used the transform message connector to transform the message. And then from there on, we call the Salesforce API to create offers. Yeah. So with the quantity, with the products, and with the price, we create offers in Salesforce. And then we've got another flow here that works very similarly, which this flow monitors a different email box. It's the email box where their customers would send orders to, yeah? And then again, same thing, that we extract the email and then convert it into a plain text format so that we can feed ChatGPT API. Then we get response from ChatGPT telling us, the meaningful information in that email. What are the, orders there? What is really the customer is after? So yeah, that's that. Then we have another flow that creates orders. In this demo, as I said, we are using Salesforce, but this could well be your SAP system. You can create an order on SAP. You could create one on NetSuite, and any ERP systems that you might choose to. Quite easily using MuleSoft. And then we creating orders. We also creating the line items, which is done by this guy here. So it's a two-step process. We create an order first. We get an order ID back from Salesforce. And then we are, with that the order ID, then we create line items under that order. Yeah. So that's that. Let's now run it and see. Just gonna go back and quickly check and make sure everyone is still okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop into the chat and then let us know. I'm happy to answer that later. So I'm gonna go back to my AnyPoint Studio. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get my orders, offers. I'll start with offers first. Get offers prepared. Okay, I'm gonna email now. Just imagine I'm a vendor, right? I'm gonna email my offers to this OZ electronics business. The email address is Fugu Meetup. That's just an email I set up for receiving offers. So let's call it my offers this week. We can add a little bit of text here. Say, hello, James. So please find our offers for this week. Yeah, and you can add anything. And you can add more products if you want. So yeah, so basically we're saying I'm a vendor called, Fugo Electronics. I think it was called Fugo Auto previously, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just made up business name. So please find our offers for this week. Then I've got Lenovo, 2 different Lenovo products. And then I've got Fujitsu and I've got OKI. That's a printer. This is a brand. This is the product name. And then I've got quantity and the prices for that. As you can see, these are formatted differently, right? Sorry, let me just close this off. Yeah, these are formatted differently. The first one has a quantity there. The second one, interesting enough, doesn't have a quantity, but have QTR. And the third one doesn't even have a quantity. It's just got a number there with a new line. And the fourth one is similar to the third one. The last one is different again, different format. So let's send and see what this app is doing here. It takes probably 10, 20 seconds or so to respond. Let's give it a minute. I'll give it a few seconds, 10, 20 seconds, let's say. There we go. So it's constructing the message for ChatGPT. It says, can you find the details in the following offers individually? There we go. We got response. Yeah, we got a response, and then we call ChatGPT. We get a true. Sorry, this is Salesforce. We get true. And we actually created 4 different offers in. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different offers in Salesforce. So let's hop on to Salesforce and go to offers. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, the offers are created in actually. I think there's a bit of incorrect quantity there because the prices are messed up. Give me a sec. Let me fix that. Yeah, 1 second. I think the message, it was probably not formatted correctly. I've got, yeah, so let's try a different one. Let's try this one. Offers this week. So let me just have some new lines. Capture a new email. The price was not detected previously for some reason. Let me give it another go. Sorry, not price, quantity was not captured, I think. Go back. Yeah, quantity was not captured correctly, and as well as price. So it was captured correctly for the first product. There we go. It's triggered. There we go. This time it works perfectly fine. Not sure why it wasn't working. I have to look into it, but let's refresh Salesforce. We should get a bunch of new offers. These are, yeah, I should have deleted the, let me just do that quickly. Delete this, and then we can start from scratch so that we don't get a we have time still. Yep. All right, let me just do it again. So I've just cleared out all the offers from Salesforce. Let's just make sure that it's not messed up. Okay, do that again. Well, we can name it this one. I think this on this week offers. Okay. I'll come back to this. In the meantime, I'll get my orders prepared. I think I've got this. Yeah. All right, here we go. It's got triggered. It's not quite getting the price again for some reason. Yeah, you guys saw that it was working second attempt, but it's, I'll have to look into why the price is not captured this time. So with that, let me just do another batch. So I've got different vendors this time. Let's do imagine this is a different vendor with a bunch of different products. And let's say this is offers for this month. I mean, this is from a different vendor. Yeah, these are the offers of this month. I've got NVIDIA, Cisco, Seagate, different products and different quantities and prices. Let's see what happens if I hit it. Let me refresh this. Yeah, these were the new batch. And let's see the NVIDIA, the batch we just sent, it's not triggered yet. There we go. Okay, perfect. So there are 3 products from this particular vendor called Tom Murphy Electronics. Yeah, got a NVIDIA, Cisco, and a Seagate, different prices, different quantity. And so if I refresh my Salesforce, I get them. Yep, there we go. So if you look at, sorted by modified time, you guys can see these 3 new records, 3 new offers, I should say. So now with this, obviously now stored, these offers are now in Salesforce. We can then match the offers, with the orders from my customers. So let's go with customers now. Okay, I'm gonna go. So for orders, it's a different email, right? So you guys saw that there was a different flow listening to a different email box. Now we go orders, and let's say buy TV, right? So I want to buy TV. So if I go this, and I do hi, Aussie Electronics team, can I get 5 Samsung 50-inch OLED 4K smart TVs, right? You notice that Samsung is misspelled and TV, there's space between T and a V, but that could happen when people type in this free text-based email. That can happen. So let's see what happens with this. Now, if I hit and go back to Anypoint Studio, and the second flow that listens to the order email box should get triggered now, which would extract that order information. This should happen in 10, 20 seconds. Let me go to my email and check, make sure that email is arrived. Yeah, it is there. Buy TV. This is the email that actually, it's the order email. It's still new, so that means the MuleSoft app hasn't read it yet. Yeah, there we go. It says, can you find the details in the following orders, right? It says there, I've got your order information. ChatGPT returns that it's Samsung that you're after. You're after 5. and this is the product you're looking for. Yeah. So then with that, we go ahead and create the order and the line items under that order. I mean, this is basically the order ID that comes back from Salesforce. And the message now there basically means that is, that message is only got a value when there's an exception. Success is true, so that's all good. So with that, let's go to Salesforce and check the orders, which is a different screen. Yeah, I've got a 1 there, and it says 10,000 because that particular customer is after 5 of these TVs, and each one costs 2,000. And if you click on that order, you get the product information there as well. That's actually the line item. Yeah. And yeah, so that's the quick demo. Let me go back to my slides. And maybe let's see if there's any questions in the meantime. Sorry, let me go back to. Okay. I'll go through the questions, good ones. Yeah, good questions keep coming. I'll go through your questions shortly. Let's go back to the slides. So that was the live demo. Hopefully that was interesting to you guys. Yeah, there are some areas for improvement. Obviously, this is just a POC. We did that quickly. I took the base version from Suraj, as explained earlier, made some modifications, but there are a few areas that we can improve. We could optimize the flow and make them reusable. As you can see, that at the moment it's just simply a few flows that we could make a subflow and then reuse that flow, because the orders and offers actually are processed in a similar way. So we can definitely reuse the flows, some elements of these two flows, and make them as a reusable sort of flow or function, if you like. Then we can decouple offers and orders creation. At the moment, we're using, the implementation is using Salesforce connector, the MuleSoft Salesforce connector, but a better design could be, completely decouple the orders and offers creation by making them sort of event-driven based. And, by going through, for example, Anypoint MQ, where once you get orders from the email, you drop the orders into an Anypoint QQ, and then you have a separate MuleSoft application listening to the Anypoint MQQ, and then process the orders and create orders with Salesforce or any other ERP systems if you want. Yeah, that would apply to both offers and orders. Then exception handling, that's the case where, what happens if, you saw that, guys, what happens if the price was not captured? What happens if a quantity was not captured? Because remember, this is language processing, right? Because the nature of free text emails, and sometimes, ChatGPT cannot detect what really that email is about. So what we could do better here is to handle these sort of exceptions by, for instance, creating a case, a Salesforce case, to then send an alert to a team and look into that email manually. So obviously this would be better because it can reduce, the human efforts there. We don't have to look at every single email as what they do at the moment. The business does that. They can only look at the outliers, the ones that trigger exceptions created by a case, or whatever the software system you have. It could be ServiceNow that triggers a case that you can look into that. So that's definitely the areas that we can improve. With that, I'll see if you guys have any questions. Let's have a look at the questions. Thank you so much. Shobet, if I mispronounced your name, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll share the slides. Yeah, share the slides later. You can find the slides, I believe, on the Meetup page. Yep. And yeah, you've already answered that. In your past experience, how was not appear to me? How can I connect with Meetup guys in case I'm not able to get it after? Oh yeah, so Brian, you've answered that question. Oh, there's no outstanding questions. Okay, perfect. I'm so sorry. If there's any questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. But otherwise, yeah, thank you guys so much for your time, for connecting in. I think that's it. But yeah, again, if there are questions, I'm happy to stay and then answer your questions. With that, I'll hand back to Brian. Anything that you want to talk about? I'll hand back to Brian. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I just want to close off and say thanks to everyone who did join in online and in person. We appreciate everyone's attendance, and everyone joining is part of the community, and that's what makes us what we are. Without you guys, we certainly wouldn't be here. There's one thing I would like to encourage is just that after the meetup, a survey usually goes out, and I know a lot of people don't tend to fill us up, but if you could, that would be really helpful. It helps us to get a good gauge of what has been working, what hasn't been working, and ways that we can improve. So if you can fill that out, that'll be great. The other thing I want to say as well is if there's any people that want to have the opportunity to speak at a MuleSoft meetup. At the moment, we're targeting mostly people within Brisbane that can do our in-person meetup because we do run a hybrid session. But if you are interested anyway, you're welcome to send any of your meetup ideas to us, and then if there's a slot available where we don't have a local to be able to fill in, we'd happily be able to accommodate and be able to look at an option like that. If you have any other questions as well, feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn. You can reach out to Hugo on LinkedIn. You can ask me any questions about ChatGPT, about the integration and everything like that. And to close us off, I think, I hope everyone enjoyed our very first hybrid session. We promise we won't be as late on the second one and moving forward, but we hope that you enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.